When I get cut, I have another opportunity to come back, break my foot. That drove me to really reevaluate how I look at and love basketball. So I was talking to Tyler Ennis. It's like, yo, why don't you come back to see how I bounce? Andrew Wiggins, Xavier Ratton-Mayes, they're all windmilling and throwing lobs. We went to Milwaukee, and I look across the gym, Roy Williams and John Calipari, Mike Krzyzewski. I'm like, oh, this is where I need to be. Anthony Bennett, he's like, yo, I want you to be my manager. When we went to New York, that's when I got introduced to CJ McCollum. And 2018, decided to move back to Toronto. And when I moved back, I want to be like the black marketer in Canada. I enjoy taking an idea, putting it on paper, and like, oh, we love this. We want to buy it. I'm going to bring Kobe Bryant to Toronto. Too many people that are doing what they have to do.
Yes.
I'm trying to do shit that I want to do. What's up, world? It's your boy, Randy Rozaay, and you're watching UndressTheJersey.
What's going on, world? Welcome back to another episode of UndressTheJersey. Today, we are joined by a special guest. Never thought this day would come. We got Randy Rozaay, who, has 18 different titles. To give you guys a little bit of context, I'm currently working for Randy as an internship position at Athlete Tech Group. We're going to dive all into that. But I'm going to open up the floor to Randy just to give us an introduction. I know a little bit about you. Before we get started, I actually want to share something with you. So I connected, the only reason I know you or I applied for the copywriter role at ATG when it came up. But before that, Moose, I had the connection with Moose because when I was in my second year of university, he came across UndressTheJersey, showed interest, was like, yo, I love what you're doing. He was at Ryerson at the time doing sports media and doing whatever he does. So we connected. We never collaborated. We had plans to do so, but we just stayed in touch. Fast forward to the end of August, he's posting all kinds of stuff of Athlete Tech Group. I actually attended your guys' base camp. I was blown away by the people that were attending. David Meltzer was someone I was like, damn, I get to choose and go into a room with him. I'm like, I need to get in here.
I get to go into a room with him.
So anyways, one-on-one. So because I was in networking stage, right? Like I was trying to I'm still without a job. And so I'm just trying to learn and grow anyway. So Moose posted the job application. I joined, but when I saw that you were the founder, I was like, Randy Rozaay, why do I know this name? Because I knew you were a basketball guy. Didn't know if you were an NBA guy. Had no idea, but the name was familiar. I reached out to a couple of people that I knew from X, who are from Ontario, who played ball and stuff. And I was like, yo, you guys know this guy? And he goes, oh yeah, Randy's the guy. So with that short little introduction, explain who you are, what you do, where you come from, what town you're from, whatever. Just say what's up.
Dude, well, thanks for the intro, man. I like to, normally introduce myself. One, I really don't like talking about myself, right? So I'll start there. But, for my guy, Tristan's been great and, joining the ATG family and getting down into the weeds with us, whether we have a Sunday night call or early morning call. He's been doing his thing, and what you guys see on social and out in the world is not just me. I have talented people on the team, so I got to give a huge shout out to Tristan. A little bit about myself. I grew up playing the game of basketball. I don't want to say it saved my life, but it gave me direction. So, wanting to play the game caused me to go to class and get grades just to play. Ended up getting a university scholarship to Brandon University in Manitoba my first year. Went out there and training camp, I realized that I had an issue with my hip flexor. So they said that I'd have to sit this year. So I redshirted my first year. So I took that time, got a job, upgraded my class load from 3 to 5 because, all athletes only take 3.
Yeah.
3 to 5, but I was still at practice, busting ass on the practice squad. I played in a couple preseason games, and great first year learning experience caused me to grow up quickly and learn what like being an adult was. Because my first
so quickly, was basketball always your single focus, and like from the time you were born, you had a ball in your hand and like it was like league or die? Like, was that the goal?
Yeah. But at the same time, I was very realistic. You know, I got my first job when I was 12. I used to deliver newspapers, so I always liked having my own money. Like
Yo, why is every entrepreneur a newspaper guy from the beginning?
Well, one, the entry to access is the easiest, right? You don't need to be 16 and have tons of experience. It's taking the paper they give you and dropping it off. But 2, what it did for me was it helped me understand time management. I knew my newspapers had to be delivered at a certain time. I knew how many people I had to deliver to. I knew what days I had to deliver. So, you know, instead of talking to girls on MSN, I couldn't. I was out delivering paper. But that sacrifice led to me buying my own Xbox. Like Christmas, I had Christmas every month because I made $120, $125. Whenever I wanted McDonald's, I would go get it. And
which not a lot of kids have that, like, access to money.
Yeah, well, I had to create it. And because I wanted to create it, it caused me to want it and always want it. So, you know, from 12 to 13, I was delivering the newspaper. And then when I turned 14 and got older, I just worked McDonald's, Tim Hortons, factory jobs, cleaning offices. I've always just wanted my own. I really don't like asking for stuff.
Okay. And quickly, because I've been having like super conversations with, especially with Black History Month. And I just ran the content series, My Letter to Sport, which highlighted Black athletes in Canada and their experiences. A big topic that I've run into is this whole idea of immigrant families. And I know just from working with you, you've mentioned that your parents are immigrants to Canada, but you were born here and whatever. So did they teach you the value of, so the big lesson that comes from the immigrant families is that hard work for everything you get. You're not handed anything. Do you owe that? Do you owe that to your family, or you found that somewhere else?
100%. I remember growing up in Scarborough and, you know, living in metro housing, which essentially is like subsidized living. I grew up in those areas, but it didn't feel like it at the time. I remember people would bring like candy, like my Christmas gift was candy from the local community center. We didn't have it, right? So I learned a lot of it from my parents and just watching them. I remember I was just talking to my mom last night. She's like, Randy, do you remember when I used to work 3 jobs?
Damn.
And I was like, yeah, I do. She would get up at 6 a.m., go work 1 job, 7 a.m. to 11, come home for an hour and a half, go work 2 to 10. And then weekends, she would pick up another job. So I didn't get to see my mom that much, but I knew she was always working. So a lot of it was just being in these environments. You know, my stepdad was a taxi driver. So a lot of that is entrepreneurial, if you will.
Yeah.
My dad got into Primerica. So he was, you know, trying to get his own financial freedom and security through, you know, his own network. And, you know, my stepmom was, she used to do hair stuff, right? So all of those jobs, if you were somewhat entrepreneurial, you had to kind of create your own, find new ways to make money. So I've seen a lot of this, and man, I just always just like having money, you know?
Yeah. And for me, I come from the opposite side. Like both of my parents were teachers. So they valued the traditional route in terms of go to college, get your degree, get a job as soon as you graduate, and build that pension so you can retire at 55.
My parents are the same way because that's what they've been programmed. Go to school, get a job.
Right.
And I was on that trajectory.
Yeah. Okay.
They valued school like no tomorrow, right?
Sure. Because it's secure, right? It's a security.
It's secure, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll touch on this later. But like me leaving school in 2012 to move to the States, that was a huge hurdle for my parents. They're like, wait, you're leaving school, you don't have degree.
Mm.
To immigrant parents, school is everything because it's something they didn't have, right?
Okay.
So they valued it probably 3 times as much as your parents,
Sure,
right?
sure.
But they didn't know, now, my parents live in Brampton. My dad just sold his house for $1 million and went and bought another house. The house that my mom has, to see that they've been able to just get here is astonishing. And it goes to, just having the mindset of you're never going to give up. You're never going to quit. So,
yeah. Quickly, just because you mentioned it there, are you from Brampton originally?
Nah, come on, bro. Stop playing me.
Okay, so this is why I want to get as an East Coaster. The whole media rips on Brampton. I want to know why. What gives it this bad rep? Why is everyone like every TikTok I see people being like, "Yo, this shorty from Brampton linked me and I threw her in the trash."
Yo, honestly, I don't really know what people have with Brampton. I mean, I have some ideas. I know that I was born in Montreal. Moved to Scarborough when I was 2. I lived in Scarborough from 2 to like 13, then moved to Brampton. Brampton, I guess people don't like the fact that it's just all suburbia. Like to get it's so big, to get anywhere, you got to get on a bus. There's a bit of racial to it as well, right? If you live in Brampton, you have money, like 10 to 15 years new. Like it's been around, but people didn't really start moving here till about 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
But what's crazy is like Brampton's home to number 1 picks, number 4 picks of Tristan Thompson, Roy Woods, Jesse Reyes, Alicia Cara, Tyler Ennis.
So they're producing talent.
Randy Osei. I mean,
okay. Well, all right. Okay. So this actually transitions well, because even though you played ball and you're living the basketball life, like you've lived the basketball lifestyle, I would even argue that like you're more of an icon, like a basketball figure as opposed to a basketball player, because you played college in and out of college. You didn't make the league, but like, tell us about the transition, like, because you were a player agent at one point, right? Like
never agent.
Manager?
No, I was player manager. So I'll get into what that was. So my story from Brandon, transferred, my coach got fired, get to, Laurier, season starts. I don't play the first couple of games. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th game. I, meshed and figured it out, and I was supposed to play that weekend. And then a very, very close friend of mine dies from cancer. I end up going home, and like that whole season is wiped out because, by the time I came back, we were going into exams or something at that.
And your mind's elsewhere, and you stepped away.
The coach was like, "Yo, Randy, take the time you need. Come back when you're ready." So I came back ready. That summer, I stayed in Waterloo, worked at McDonald's, skipped Carabana. I'll continue to tell people I skipped Carabana for basketball. Got in the best shape of my life. Went into training camp. Did really well in training camp, and things switched. Long story short, I got cut out of the point guard position for a kid that my coach, he used to coach the kid's mom when the mom played for Team Canada. Your son is of age? Oh, bring him in. Now, at the time, the kid should not be on the team. Like, let's start there. And, I'm a 3rd-year guard, and we had a 5th-year guard. It's very hard to cut 5th-year guards.
Sure.
Right? So it's Randy, 5th-year guard, or the kid. You're out.
And coaches would argue, be like, "Oh, we want the younger guy to develop and get a better culture so he can be the next leader."
I didn't play the year before, right?
Yeah.
So not in the system.
Yeah.
But the thing that hurt is the last day of training camp, we have a full out scrimmage. And that last day, they started the kid in front of me, which I was like, what the hell? But that's okay. Came off the bench. They took stats. I think I had like 27 and like 5 or whatever. And we won the game. At the end of it, little did I know I was going to be cut regardless of what I did. I was going to be cut regardless of what I did. And coach like, all right, if I spoke to you, come to the middle. And everyone's walking this way and I'm walking this way. Everyone's like, yo, Randy, where are you going? Yo, I got cut. And that broke me. Like that legit broke me because I missed Caravana for this shit. And now I'm not even on the team.
Right.
So I don't know if it was depression or sad or angry at the world, but 2K came out like a week later. My player that was the first year it got launched.
Yep.
Stopped going to class, 2K. And I went to work just so I could pay my bills. My best friend comes and he goes, Randy, why don't you just transfer to Durham? Just transfer. I'm like, I can't leave university, go to college. He's like, come, like, we're good. And it's me, you, Rob Gagliardi. I was like, okay. So I went down there, went for a workout, worked out. Coach is like, yeah, we want you to come. So when you transfer from university to college, you don't need to sit out.
Right.
I got to our first practice a week before our first tournament, which I think was at George Brown. And the first practice, I break my foot.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
That right there messed me up even more. Because I'm like, wait, when I get cut,
sure,
I have another opportunity to come back and play the game that I love. And I break my foot out of nowhere. And that drove me to really reevaluate how I look at and love basketball.
So I want to take this as an opportunity to like try to see how you see the world and why things happen the way they do. So you get cut from Brent or whatever, Laurier, and then you transfer and then all of a sudden your world is just crashing down in basketball. Like you had this vision for ball and all of a sudden it's just stripped away from you, which would feel like for reasons that are out of your control. So you playing 2K in your basement and in darkness and your whole mind's dark. What are you thinking? Are you mad at the world being like, why is this happening to me? Like life sucks? Or are you like, nah, like I'm going to eat this and I'm going to use this to push forward?
Nah, I was like, yo, life sucks.
Okay.
This don't make no sense. How? I bust that kid's ass. I bust everyone's ass.
Yep.
I was here the whole summer. I trade, like everyone saw. I was in the best shape of my life. So it was everyone else's fault, right? That's how I looked at it. Because I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, right?
Of course.
And it wasn't until my best friend called me. He was like, yo, Randy, come. And I hadn't played for like a month and a half.
Uh-huh.
Me not playing for a month and a half or even working out or anything. Shit, I'm like, all right, let's get back. Started hitting the gym again, getting ready. And, going to my first practice, me breaking my foot. I was supposed to break my foot. I haven't taken care of my body. So that happening, it's like, it's telling me, Randy, I don't think this is it for you. I'm like, nah, what do you mean?
Right.
3 months. Come back that first week again, break it again.
That's crazy. Because there's got to come a point where you're like, all right, like this just ain't for me. Like, 100%. Or a realization where you're like, maybe this isn't my path. Like, did you have one of those moments?
That second break was that moment.
Okay. And so now where do you shift your focus, or do you go back down into a darker hole?
So my holes weren't paused. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
You started it. Anyways, after breaking my foot that second time, I was like, all right, this isn't it. This is not it. I was talking to Tyler Ennis. Tyler is a kid that I've been around since he was young. And Tyler, I was telling Tyler what was going on. He's like, yo, why don't you come back to CIA Bounce? Because I used to play for CIA. He's like, why don't you come back? We could use some help. Come back to do what? He's like, I don't know, just come.
Is he the same age as you, or was he a younger player?
Tyler's 94.
Okay.
Tyler's 94. So at this time, Tyler was 17. So Tyler's now growing St. Benedict's prep.
That's right.
Point guards in the nation. So Tyler's giving me advice. I'm like, where has life gone? but I take his advice. You know, I take that leap of faith. I go back to CI Bounce, see what's going on. I walk in the gym, Andrew Wiggins, Dwayne Notice, Malcolm DeVivier, Xavier Ratton-Mayes, Isaiah Watkins, Tevin Finley. Just all of these kids are, I'm like, yo, these guys were all little kids when I used to, you know, be back in high school. And they're all windmilling and throwing lobs. And
I mean, I when I was in high school, that was the team. Like as a small town Canadian basketball player, like those were the guys. Like who mixtape and everything.
So that was the summer when we went to Peach Jam and we went to the finals and we lost. And you know, that first day I walked in, I was like, I like this. I like this energy because you know what? Everything that I've learned about the game, now I can impact and help these guys go through their own journey. Mm-hmm. So you know what? I'm going to live vicariously through these guys. So that summer, our very, very, very first tournament, we go to Milwaukee, and very first game, you know, my job that I gave myself, if you will, was like, I was washing jerseys and making sure guys had new jerseys to play in every day. Cause you know, AAU, by the time
playing like 3 games a day,
by Saturday, your whole room stinks.
Yeah, right? So
let me take that over. I was stretching guys, you know, this is something that I had learned, right? I was taking stats on the bench. I was looking at the foul count. I was making sure hotel rooms were booked, flights were booked. Like I was doing all of those little things to make sure things were moving forward.
And clearly you didn't have a big enough ego to be like, yo, I'm not doing that. Like, or even being willing to take a back seat. Like even going from university to college, you must not have really cared about what other people were going to think about you.
I could give two shits. At the end of the day, you know, my life is my life, and I'm going to drive this vehicle.
Okay.
I may not, you know, be a CIS Player of the Year anymore, but I'm going to give somebody 30 at least once or twice. People are going to remember, oh, Randy Osei, no, that guy. Wherever you remember me from, you will.
Okay.
So, you know, being with CIA Bounce that year, you're right. Ego stripped. It's like, nah. Now, I think the big thing for me that summer was Nike was involved, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Growing up, Nike wasn't involved in anything, right? The Reebok ABCD camp in like 2003 or 2 or whatever year it was.
Sure.
So Nike's involved, and like I remember we went to Milwaukee and we had cameras around, and like I felt famous because I'm part of, like, I didn't know what I was a part of until time went on. So the first game, Xavier comes out and drops 50. And I'm like, oh, this is what I'm doing the whole summer.
Nice one.
This is what I'm doing the whole summer. He came out and dropped 50 in Milwaukee. And I was like, in 8-minute quarters too. So I'm moved. Time moves on, and you know, we end up traveling to Virginia for Boo Williams. We go to, you know, Rumble in the Bronx. We go to Kentucky. We go to all these different places. We go to DC. Mind you, Andrew Wiggins, this is his last year of high school, so everyone is around.
Okay, yeah, gyms are packed, media, everything.
I remember we played Julius Randle, and I'm sitting on the bench, and it's Andrew versus Julius Randle, and I look across the gym, Roy Williams and John Calipari and Mike Krzyzewski. I'm like, oh, this is where I need to be.
Okay, so when you say like this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life, what are you now envisioning for your role?
Not what I said. I didn't say this is the rest of my life. I just said this is where I need to be.
Okay.
So I don't know what my role is.
Okay. I'm now,
be a process, help these guys figure out where they're going. You know, Andrew is going to go to Florida State or Kansas or North Carolina, and he's coming and asking me for my opinion. And
right. Like, oh. Right. And so I'm not trying to put you on the spot or make you look like a bad thing, but like deep down here you are just fresh out of college or whatever. Like I'm trying to think about me and my own situation. I'm like, yes, I'm here trying to provide value for other people, but at the same time, I got to take care of me. Like, what am I getting out of this? So like,
I was just happy to be there, bro. For me, as a mind you, I was still in college. This is just the summer I'm talking about. This is from like May to August.
But you're not thinking of like opportunities that may come your way because of it?
I still had to go back. I had school in
Oh,
September.
okay. That makes a difference.
Here, learning, and I'm like a kid in a candy store because this is
Yeah.
another basketball that I'm not seeing at Laurier or Brandon
Fact.
or Durham. I'm not seeing that,
or in Canada at all. Yeah.
Seeing any of that. So I'm just happy to be here. So I always thought something would come out of this.
Sure.
What it is,
You just don't know what it is. Okay.
I'm just going to come here and do what I can do the
Good.
best. As I did that, Anthony Bennett was one of the kids that was around a lot. I think he was supposed to go to UNLV that summer, but he didn't go till late. So we spent a lot of time. So I remember I got a job at the car auction in the daytime, and in the nighttime I was in the gym, right? I'd pick up whatever kids, go to the gym, we'll go shoot, let's go lift, let's go work out. That's what I did the whole summer, right? It wasn't about Randy no more. It was about these kids. And great experiences, man. I remember we went to DC for the Global Challenge, and me and Andrew Wiggins go to watch USA versus Brazil, and we're three rows away.
So
there's
tough.
LeBron, there's KD, there's this person. I was like, wow. And it was such a great experience. The next month we played in a Peach Jam. We lost in the finals to Aaron Gordon and Stanley Johnson, and over some BS call. And I remember driving back to the airport to fly back to Toronto, and I remember how dead silent the car was. All you could hear was sniffles. I'm like, yo, some of you guys are gonna go play pro, some of you guys are gonna go get a free education, and you're sitting here crying. Why are you guys crying? Like, you guys have gone further than anyone has ever gone from Canada. You guys should be so proud. This is what I'm thinking to myself.
Sure.
And then I get this notion, like, I got to play one more year. I got to get this thing out of my system, because now I'm amped to go again. Like, I want to play again. And that month of August, I just got ready for my season. So
you did end up playing your final year?
I didn't miss a practice. I didn't miss a game. Played every single game. We lost first round in the playoffs. I think that year I averaged 13, 6. I don't remember what I averaged, but I did lead the country in 3-point field goal percentage.
What? Hey, it was a short three though.
No, it wasn't.
It was FIBA 3? Was it FIBA?
Oh, this guy, man.
No. I swear to God, college plays in the short three. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not here to like put you down or anything. Like, this is all about athlete empowerment, right?
Nice try.
So let's fast forward, because like
I gotta finish the point.
Okay, yeah, please.
Needs to hear this. Me going through that final year of play, we got eliminated. When we were eliminated, I cried. Not tears of, oh my God, it's done. I finished it my way, right? I didn't let the injuries and other things say, well, Randy, you're done with it. I finished it when I was ready to finish, when I was ready to be finished with it. And now that I was done with it, I'm like, all right, what's next?
Yeah, you needed that closure. It's like
to get it.
It's like breaking up with your girlfriend for like 10 years. You're just like, okay. I mean, yeah, you had to do that. What I was trying to ask is, so you managed Anthony Bennett when he was going to the league, right?
So as soon as that season was done, me and Anthony had been chatting throughout his whole first year at college, which Anthony, people were like, oh, how did this guy go number one? If you saw what he did at UNLV at 6'6" and 3/4, playing the center, the kid was beyond deserving of going number one. He's like, yo, I want you to be my manager. So I flew down to Vegas for 3 weeks. We trained, and then we came home for about a week, and then we went to New York to get ready for the draft. And that whole thing was an experience. When we went to New York, that's when I got introduced to CJ McCollum and Carter Williams, and A couple of it, Kemba Walker. I met some folks, right? The whole agency world now.
Yeah, because like I'm wondering about like what's the role that a manager even does? Like, did you have any idea what you were doing, or you were faking it till you made it?
I had no idea. My job was to make sure Anthony did not get in trouble. Make sure he didn't get any girls pregnant or show up on TV or waste tons. Like, my job is just to make sure he played basketball, which I did, right? I think the big thing as a manager is, you're trying to always think ahead. And to talk to Anthony's career really briefly, Anthony was dealt a bad hand, in the sense, going into your rookie season, training camp, summer league are crucial for that transition, right?
In what way? What do you mean crucial? Like playing time or adapting to the?
Just so crucial in the sense of speed of the game is different. Okay. Playing with a new zone, new area, playing with new guards, new ball. Like, it's a huge transition. You're doing something new. Everyone is athletic. Everyone can jump. Everyone can shoot.
Yeah.
Every handle. So how do you get ready? That transition period from summer league to training camp, he missed all of it.
What was he doing?
He had shoulder surgery.
That's right.
So going into the draft, he had a shoulder surgery. So he missed out on that. Mm-hmm. Now, Cleveland at the time, I feel, wanted to get up and going, see if they can win some games, because I knew LeBron, his contract was ending the next year. So they were trying to get him back. So they didn't want him to come back to a terrible team. So like, all right, Anthony, you got to start playing. Anthony was not ready to play basketball. He was overweight. He was out of shape. He hadn't played. He needed time. He really should have played January of that season, but he didn't get afforded that ability. Now think about this. Imagine being named the best.
Yep.
From where you come into this new place, that's the best of the best, and you run down back and forth, and instead of focusing on the game, you're trying to catch your breath. Imagine you're setting screens for Kyrie and catch your breath. You cannot listen and try to catch your breath at the same time. There's no way. And so because he went through that, what happens? Your confidence gets shot. You're the best. Remember his first season, he played 13 straight games and didn't score a field goal. And everyone's like,
yeah, and social media. Oh my God.
The kid was playing like 15 to 20 pounds overweight in a newer league with faster people. You haven't had the time to really get acclimated.
Sure.
And from there, it just went left. So
how did that affect your career? Like, because I'm imagining that if you're representing a player and the player doesn't do well, is that a reflection on you too?
100%. Randy, what are you guys doing? Are you guys out late? No. What is this, that? No. Okay. Anthony's doing what he's supposed to be doing. I always try to push and help. But where Anthony was in his mind and with this career, it felt like the Cavs just didn't care. Like, that's what it felt like at the time.
Yeah, right? I feel like the Cavs have that, I don't know, this whole LeBron and the owners feud, and like,
it was weird. I don't know how to really explain it. It was just a weird time. But I think, him missing that transition was the start of the end.
Sure. Which makes total sense if you have that back end story.
Exactly. So for me, I was new into this space. So as much as it, people are like, oh, you must be a bad manager for clients this. To me, that was white noise, because you're not here every day. You don't see Anthony
100%.
And he's getting in the gym early. You don't see that, he's there later at night and shooting. And on top of which, he had a lot of injuries. And when you're playing a new game, a new weight, new speed, you're going to hurt yourself. And that's what we saw. So it's a mixture of a bunch of things. I be on here saying that the Cavs are bad, or I'm not blaming.
No, God no.
Was what happened. And for Randy as a individual, it was important for me to just continue to build relationships, because being a manager, it's not like you go to school or you can go to Brock.
No, God no.
Program. It was, all right, you got to make sure this person does what they're supposed to do. And as long as this person does well, you'll be fine. Like, that's kind of the mindset going into it. But for me, this goes back to being 12, right? I want my own shit. I'm down to help. I'm down to help build, but I still want my own shit. So as much as I was with Anthony and taking care of what I needed to take care of, as time went on, I'm building relationships with everybody.
Which I want to ask you, like, to me, I feel like you're the most connected person in, like, that I know. And just from observing you and trying to learn from you and seeing who you know and connecting with this brand and that brand, and I just got off the phone with this person. I'm like, holy shit, how, like, you can just hit this person, like Roy Woods. First of all, shout out Roy, because he's like, I fuck with his music heavy. Didn't know who he was. He came to Halifax for a concert. He was my first concert ever. I'm like, okay, this is the guy. Meanwhile, here I am, like, Randy and Roy are boys. Like, where does that relationship come from? You tell us stories about Jamal Murray. You'd be like, oh yeah, I just got off the phone with Jamal. He had 50 last night. I just hit him up. Ha ha ha. Like,
don't make it sound like that.
How are you the most connected person? Basically what I'm asking is, like, something that I think about a lot is my ability to, like, connect with different people. And I'll give you context. When I first moved to Toronto in the summer, got a bunch of guys that I played at X with from here. So Julius Antoine, shout out Julius. He's from Vaughan, played with Andrew Wiggins actually at Vaughan Secondary. We're here with our boys and whatever, we're turning up, and he's like, yo, you guys trying to come to a fet? I'm like, what's a fet? He said, oh, don't worry, it's a barbecue. It's a barbecue. So we pull up to the barbecue, and here I am, the only white guy. But, like, basically what I'm saying is, like, I feel like I have this ability just to adapt to my environment. I turned out to have the best time, met all kinds of people, like, whatever.
You got a bubble?
Yo, buddy, don't worry about my wine. Like, you know what I mean? But so clearly you must have this, like, high emotional intelligence or whatnot in order to form these relationships.
Maybe I don't know. I'll go back to being 12.
Okay, but what, you met Roy Woods when you were 12?
No, but it goes, so dummy. It goes back to being able to adapt to new environments at all times.
100%.
As a newspaper boy, McDonald's, factory, office jobs, you're meeting different people from different spaces, different walks of life. My biggest thing is, when I meet somebody, how am I going to add value to you?
Yes.
That's my key, if you will, to building relationships. It's not so much I'm Randy or I'm Randy Rozaay and this, that, and it's like,
you don't expect anything from
I don't expect anything. If I meet you and we sit down and we chat, I'm trying to leave with something. I'm trying to leave you with something. And 9 times out of 10, I try to leave people with something. So if I meet somebody, I'm either giving them something to think about that they never thought about before. I'm maybe presenting them with an opportunity that, hey, maybe this is somewhere that we can collaborate. I'm bringing, like, I'm always trying to find, how can I one up this person and bring value? Because the way I look at it, when I bring you value, you now owe me.
Yeah, technically speaking, yeah.
So some people do pay it back, or some people don't. That's fine. But my biggest thing is giving without expecting.
Yes, which will get you everywhere. But, like, I would even argue that's more of a strategy than it is like a inherent personality trait. Like,
and I think it is inherent. Like I'm speaking about it like it's a strategy, but it just,
Yeah,
for
you
me,
can't learn that.
yeah, for me, uh, I'm always taking in different information. I think that's another thing is
Mm-hmm.
my diet for knowledge. I'm always hungry for new things. I'm always
Agreed.
reading things and how does this work and
Agreed.
so forth. Because I'm always grabbing and trying to pull towards me, when I meet new people, before I even meet people, I do my research,
Yeah,
right?
you have to. Yeah.
Get an understanding of who they are, what are some things that we could talk about, so on and so forth. So it's always, 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 always about adding value and helping people. I think that's the big thing for me.
Okay. So before we get away from this, just for my own selfish fanboy, like tell me how you met Roy Woods, or how do you know him?
Okay. So Roy, I met through my brother, MC Ebone. MC Ebone is MC here in Toronto, he's just like me. He's a connector, right? MC,
Yeah.
you'll see on with Tory Lanez, and you'll see him with Popcorn, and then you'll see him with Baka. He's the same type of person, right? So when I remember Roy did a concert, and at the time I didn't know who Roy was.
Okay.
And then went to the concert. He introduced me. I said hello, shook hands. We didn't speak again. I then saw him and his manager again, Mr. Brooks. And me and Mr. Brooks got really cool. Like we had like real life conversations. And you know
Right.
what we talked about? Basketball. That was it. We talked about basketball, and that grew when I started Return to Love Community Support, the nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
I got 10 grand to host an event. And I said, Roy, I don't have money to pay you, but if you participate within this event, in the subsequent years, I'll be able to pay you. Roy's like,
and that was an event to give back to Brampton, right?
Yeah. So the city of Brampton gave me a grant to do an event around climate change. So that first year, do your part celebrity game. So that game was we brought Roy Woods, Jay and Trey Richards, Keisha Rush, Trey Rush, all of these influencers that everyone knew. I just said, yo, just come play a game of basketball. I'm going to get Nike to give everyone shoes and jersey. I'll rent out Sheridan College. We rented it out. We put decals, and it was dope. But it was an event that made everybody happy. And I wasn't able to pay Roy, but last year's event that we did in 2020, I was able to pay him. So I made sure that I delivered on my word. I also did a back to school backpack giveaway with Roy. So Roy went to the Staples that he used to go to when he was a kid.
Nice.
We got 125 backpacks. We promoted it. Kids came and they got a backpack, picture with Roy, autograph. And Roy was like, yo, this is dope. I want to do this more. Cool. So, sorry, my value add was something he didn't have.
That's right. Yeah, I was just going to say, it goes back to your initial thesis. Like, you're always trying to provide value for other people. And by getting Roy involved with these community events, you're giving him an opportunity to realize, like, damn, like giving back to the community is like fun. It feels good. This takes me into my questions to you about like you as an entrepreneur. So I remember in our interview back in November, I think I started at ATG. You asked me a question of like, yo, what is it you want to do in the, like, what's your goal? And I was like, I don't really know. But you gave me your goal, and you were like, I'm out here trying to be the Canadian JayZ. Tell me like, why, first of all, why JayZ? And I know that's just an example of what he represents, but like, tell me why that's your overall arching goal.
I think what JayZ represents for the Black community specifically is excellence and doing things his way, right? JayZ came in as a rapper, but we now know him as a business mogul.
True.
I'm going to come in as a business manager, and my story is still being written, right? what JayZ to me exudes, JayZ, Diddy, LeBron, guys like CJ McCollum, like what these guys exude to me is I'm coming in for what I'm really good at. But because I'm really good at this one thing, I'm going to leverage this one thing and build 15 other things from this one thing. When you simplify it like that, it's like, okay, LeBron's really good at basketball. Laugh at LeBron all you want about his hairline and this and that. The man is 36, 37, looking like he's 21, taking care of what he needs to take care of. What you see happening in the back end, LeBron just raised $100 million for Spring Hill Entertainment. LeBron has how many shows? He's doing Space Jam 2, lifetime deal with Nike, Apple, Beats, launching liquor, all because he was really good at one thing.
That's right.
He's taken one thing and he's built other things around it. JayZ's the same thing. He was really good at music, still is. He's built Rock Nation Sports. He's built Rock Nation, signed Rihanna, Puma. He works with the NFL. Had Nipsey Hussle under him, has Meek Mill under him, helped Meek with his reform. After he got arrested. He's a center of influence that's just creating and continuing to create. So for me, I'm like, shit, well, I don't want to be in a box, right? I don't put in a box. A lot of people are like, oh, Randy, you should become an agent. You know so many athletes. Oh, Randy, you should become a financial advisor. You know so many athletes. I don't want to be tied to athletes.
Because then you're just that one thing.
If I come in and I work with athletes and I'm able to do some good work with athletes, what else is going to come from it? That's how I look.
And a big conversation that's inside of the world of entrepreneurship is this notion of having multiple income streams. And I think when people hear that, who aren't like innate entrepreneurs, they're like, all right, well, I'm going to start a clothing company. And then, I'm going to start a car wash. And like that approach, in a sense, they need to all be interconnected, because in the center of it is you. So you need to take your interests, your passions, and your skills, and then start focus on one thing. And then like me here, I started with doing a Humans of New York for Canadian athletes. And then now it's turned into a podcast. And then now it's starting into, doing these separate content series with different brands. So like, you got to start and get really good at one thing, whether that's basketball. And I think that's why you've clearly recognized, I'm starting to recognize that athletes are, they make such great entrepreneurs for the fact that we're taught discipline and adversity and resilience and, getting along with teammates and networking, which are all these different skills. Give us the backstory of how Athlete Tech Group came apart, your interest in technology, why you think the two worlds make sense. And I don't know, where do you think Athlete Tech Group's going to be down the line?
So 2018, I started having these same thoughts around not being athlete manager. So I decided to move back to Toronto. And when I moved back, I was like, I enjoy making deals. I love negotiating and, getting signed on the dotted line, taking an idea, putting it on paper and like, oh, we love this. We want to buy it.
And selling it to someone else. I'm realizing that's really addicting. Like I realize why, the term workaholics, and it usually pertains to like businessmen. It's like, if you're chilling late at night, you have an idea, and the next morning or a week later, you see that idea come to life and you sell it to someone, you're like, holy shit, let's do it.
Yeah, that was dope. It's like having a startup, right? I have this idea. I'm going to take this idea, put it on paper, get investors to buy it. Hopefully they buy the idea, move on to my next idea.
Right.
Looking at marketing, I came home and I was like, man, I really want to I want to be like the Black marketer in Canada. That was my goal. And when I came home, I started, I did a back to school campaign with Justin Jackson from the York.
Remember him?
And I did that. And as I did that, I met a gentleman named Mina. Mina worked for the region of Waterloo. So me and him had a conversation. I was like, yeah, I went to school at Waterloo and Jamal Murray this, and he's like, oh, yeah, for real? Yo, like we should talk. So I ended up going to Waterloo. I met the, economic development manager. They had this challenge of winning this $50 million grant, but they needed some marketing support. So now I get a government contract. Now I can say I worked for the region of Waterloo. They hired Randy.
Mm-hmm.
They probably gave me the world's smallest budget, but we delivered, right? We had Fred VanVleet, Danny Green, Trey Richards, Dylan Brooks, Jamal Murray, Chris Boucher, all post about what Waterloo was doing. Now, numbers wise, went amazing, but they ended up losing, not because of the marketing, but other parts of Canada needed it more than Waterloo did. So ended up losing, and right after that, they're like, Randy, I know we lost, but would you like a tour? Sure. Went back down to Waterloo, and they took me to the RIM. They took me to the Perimeter Institute by Stephen Hawking, Google, Shopify, all of these, like, and I'm walking into these places and I just see people, but I have no idea what's going on.
Sure.
Completely lost, but like big eyes, like. And what's crazy is there was a company that they made smart glasses. So glasses that would, like, if you get a text message, it would show up in the corner of your glasses.
Okay, yeah.
My best friend at Key, he's like, oh, Google or Apple's going to buy them one day. This is in 2018. They just got bought November of last year for like $300 million.
So this was after Google Glass. Do you remember Google
Glass?
Glass?
I don't know if Google bought them. Is it Google or Apple? I'll have to fact check.
Okay.
But the company got purchased last year. And I was like, crap, I remember this company. So as time went on, I was like, tech is interesting. So I went online because I remember Steph's been doing it. KD's doing it.
Yeah.
KD just went to Golden State to get closer to his investments. So I read that. I was like, interesting.
Which I bet a lot of people don't know or don't realize.
So he went to get closer to his investments. And now 30 plus investments.
Interesting.
I'm doing my research. I'm like, holy crap, Toronto's number 4 in North America? Holy crap, Toronto's the fastest growing? What the hell?
Right.
A week later, Steph Curry invests into a Canadian company. And that blows my mind. Because I'm like, yo, this guy lives 5 hours away via plane.
Yeah.
How did he company? So when that happened, I was like, let's host an event. Let's bring athletes and technology together.
So when you think event, do you have a final event in how it's going to work, or you're just like, I know this person, I'm going to invite them into the same room and hope something happens?
No, I had a vision where athletes, tech companies come together, panel discussions, so on and so forth. I had no idea what it was going to look like.
But it's mainly storytelling, like just get all these people in the same room.
Get the people, tell the story later. That's what I told myself.
Nice.
But then I was like, shit, huge hurdle. I know nothing about technology.
Yeah, true.
So I was like, all right. I called everyone I knew that knew technology. So one of the people I called was Trevor Booker. Oh, Trev, I know you're in this VC stuff. What's a VC? He's like, venture capitalist. What is that? Like, we spend money to make money. Okay, cool.
Right.
Look, bro, host this athlete tech summit in Canada. Like, is there anything you could do? He's like, oh, you should meet this guy named Swish. I'm like, who's Swish? He's like, young kid. He's building a beautiful company. I look up the company. I read, and I don't know what the company does, but because I want to talk to him, I said, all right, cool. So I meet Swish downtown Toronto one day, and I think we both came to the meeting drunk. Like, we were both still drunk from the night. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, he was like, it was crazy. And we had this conversation. He's like, yeah, Kyle Kuzma just invested in me. Like, I'm so excited. I was like, wow, that's dope. I had a bunch of questions for him, and he gave me some work to do. And then he didn't answer my email for like 2 or 3 months. Right? So the work he gave me, I was like, all right, bet. Now I have something to try to figure out. I started signing up for all of these conferences. I went to Tech Toronto. I paid these memberships, and I just wanted to learn.
Yep.
Right. So I went to all of these places, sitting down, taking notes, shaking hands, meeting people. I'm like, okay, I still don't get it, but like,
Right, but you at least you're in the room.
Right, I'm in the room. I paid to be in the room, but I'm in the room, and I'm going to conferences. I'm like, okay, this person is okay. What is AI? Okay, what is the like, bro? Lost. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna figure it out.
Sure.
Time goes on, and I meet some folks that wanted to come and help, and help support. A gentleman that worked at IBM at the time came on. He's like, yeah, I know the tech ecosystem. I think I could help. And went on, and I told myself if I didn't raise enough money by July 1st, I'm going to cancel it because I wanted to host it during Caravana weekend. Going into July, what happens? The Raptors win the title.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The Raptors win the title. Now the story of the Tech Summit changed. It's athletes are now going to Silicon Valley and San Francisco to go play for the Warriors so they can be close to their investments.
Mm-hmm.
They could do the same thing here.
True.
So I do that. I get a couple of brands on board. And, July 1st, I didn't have enough money. And I was like, forget it. We're going to do it anyway. 2 weeks later, I come out with a press release to say that Canada is hosting its first ever Athlete Tech Summit. And my phone did not stop.
So lit.
But from November, December 2018 till that July 15th, I'm campaigning. I'm reaching out to people. I reached out to KD's manager, Rich Kleiman. He never answered me. That's okay.
Sure.
I'd reach out to different people that I knew that were kind of in this space. I would just reach out and try to have a conversation. And I guarantee you, people were probably like lost every time I talked about what I wanted to do. But I had to go through that to understand what the hell I was talking about, right? Of
course.
Went through that journey. I enamored myself with as much education and knowledge as I possibly could. And had some athletes come in and speak. I flew in some athletes. I brought in a partner. Like, it's a very long story of how I built that. But ultimately, it happens that same weekend. LeBron announces he's doing Uninterrupted Canada the same day. I was there. I got an invite to go to that. Athletes stayed the whole weekend. Went to OVO. Played in OVO.
Right.
Went to the concert. And they're like, "Yo, Toronto's lit. We're doing this again.
Popping.
We're doing this again next year." I'm like, bet. So the summit was done. And I was like, oh, you know what? We should host dinners. So when guys come play the Raptors, let's host some dinners. So I had, Hennessy sponsor a dinner, Jack Daniels sponsor a dinner. And the dinner was really just a dinner. Like, just come and mix and mingle, get to know folks. Going into 2020, I was like, you know what? All right, I think I have something now, but I need a name. That I'm going to bring Kobe Bryant to Toronto. I'm going to bring Kobe Bryant to Toronto. So I got to Kobe's people. I said, yo, how much is it going to be to book Kobe? They gave me a very big number, like a very, very big number. And it was under $500,000. That's all I'll tell you.
Okay. And
I was like, all right, bet. I'll figure it out. I've come this far. What do I have to lose?
Sure.
Right? January hits. I was going to LA. So January hit. January 24th is one of my best friend's birthday. So I flew to New York. And then from New York, I was going to Florida for some meetings. And then from Florida, I was flying to LA to not meet. I was trying to get the meeting with Kobe's people to see if I can get the number down, right? So Sunday, January 26th, I'm flying from New York to Florida. As I'm landing, I turn on my phone, and it's like my phone was having a seizure or something. It would not stop vibrating. Open it up, and I was like, I'm on the plane, I'm looking around, and like no one else is overreacting. So I'm like, that's not real. So I put it back in my pocket. Phone will not stop. Open it up. Someone on the plane, Kobe's dead.
Damn.
And I looked at my phone, I was like, what?
Which must have been the craziest thing, because like you were on a mission to involving Kobe.
Yeah. So, you know, I land, and that weekend was also Super Bowl weekend in Florida. And I remember, you know, going to go get my bag, and I called my mom. My mom called me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I just lost it. I was just like, what are we fighting so hard to become this, that, and the fourth? Like, he's gone. If he's gone, I could be gone tomorrow.
100%.
I could be gone tomorrow.
So do you think that thought, or like, was that a wake up call for you? Because clearly you didn't have this fear of like, oh, I don't know if I can pull this off, or I want to do this, but you know, I don't know how. So like, clearly you didn't have that fear. But I think, just to give context to some people that are listening, like, if you like, did that moment be like, all right, if I have an idea, I'm shooting for it, because I don't know when my time's up. Like, do you live by this entrepreneurial, like, I want to accomplish my goals, and like, I don't know when my last day is?
That's a great question. I think for me, it's a little bit of that, and it's a little bit of looking at my parents. You know, my parents came here with nothing, and you know, owning homes and cars and da 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 da. If they get up every day to go and figure it out, why am I in a place questioning myself? If they can do it with no college degrees, all of the things that equal success, if they can do it, what the hell do I have to lose?
Facts.
So, you know, when Kobe passed, it was a lot of thoughts and feelings and all of these things. And, you know, I ended up going to LA that week. Like, he died Sunday, and I landed in LA on Wednesday. And I was there Wednesday to Saturday, and my first meeting then when I got to LA was with Zach Randolph. So I went to meet Zach in West Hollywood. And he was like, Randy, it was crazy. I was at the gym waiting for Kobe to arrive for practice.
Dang.
I was like, what? He's like, yo, Kobe's never late. And then I opened my phone, and so that losing Kobe lit like a new fire under me.
Yep.
Well, because the best years were ahead of him. And that's how I feel. Like, Kobe was going to change women's basketball because of his daughters. He was going to be this amazing storyteller, book creator, investor. He was going to be all of these things that I feel were going to be bigger than his basketball career.
True.
So after that, I was like, you know what? What do I have to lose? Like,
right.
Let's go. Before I left, I got the little tattoo on my left hand as a reminder. And then I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be able to have Kobe, but shit, we're going to still put on an amazing tech summit. And a month or 6 weeks later, COVID hits. And as COVID hits, it's like back to square zero.
Which is almost familiar, like your whole college basketball and breaking your foot and like all these different things. But like, I think because you've made it so far and you've done so many things, you've met so many cool people, like this is just it feels like, as an onlooker looking in on your, you know, your mindset and the way you're just like, all right, bet, like this happened, I'm adapting. Like, it's just constantly.
Not every time, man. I think for like when COVID hit for like 2-3 weeks, I was sad as shit. Because I knew 2020 was supposed to be the most lit year. I was turning. Kobe was supposed to speak. I had dreams, and I had put out there that I was going to bring Fabulous to Toronto. Fabulous, my favorite rapper. I was going to bring him to Toronto for my birthday, and we would freestyle a song. Like, this is all the things I had in my head, and now it's not happening. So I was sad for a little bit. But I don't want to say what saved me, but what got me going was when we started doing the Unplugged series.
True.
I went back to what I knew. I know some athletes. I know everyone's at home. Let's do a little TV show every Tuesday from 7 to 8. Bring on each athlete for 30 minutes. Come have a conversation. We'll record it. We'll cut it up. and we'll share it. We did that for 15 straight weeks. And that got my juices going again. I was like, all right, well, if we're going to be at home, you know what? What if we took the Athlete Tech Summit? You know, we had athletes speak at Collision. We did the dinner. We had these events. Let's create a company around the athlete entrepreneur and developing well-rounded athlete entrepreneurs. So July, I just turned 30. A week later, I launched the Athlete Tech Group. August 12th, we came out with a press release, and my eyes were this big. And as from August up until now, my eyes have just been going like this, and I've been focusing. So that's really like the origin of the group. It was already in my head to do these things,
100%.
but home. So now I don't have to fly anyone anymore. I don't have to pay for a hotel. I can meet anyone from home.
100%.
Yeah. When am I ever going to get this opportunity again? I don't know. But let me go and continue to build relationships in spaces that I'm still not familiar with. And that's all I've been doing and continue to do as we grow. I think your other question was, where do I see Athlete Tech Group going? I see it going a lot of places. I see it being the premier athlete entrepreneur ecosystem in the world. I don't see anybody really, you know, in our space, if you will. I mean, there's groups, you know, Boardroom and folks that are doing
but they're not like directly with the athlete or getting them involved. I think they're just being like a media site.
Exactly.
And I don't even like those questions myself. Like, even when you asked me in my interview, I was like, man, like, I don't know what my interest will be in 5 years. I have no idea. And that's always a tough question for me, but just, you know, being conscious of time. We're at 4:45 now. I want to share something. Like, now that you're at home and now you're doing all these things, you're laser focused. Like, man, at one time you sent me a text with like business stuff at 4 a.m. I'm like, yo, this guy doesn't sleep. Like, you're laser focused. So I guess, like, leave us with some words of encouragement, inspiration, motivation, whatever you want to call it, just in like what drives you? Why are you up at 4 a.m.? Why are you like go, like the whole idea of grinding to getting to where you are today? And we'll end it there.
I think the biggest thing for me is I don't have a plan B, bro.
Makes it
I
pretty
left school.
Cool, yeah.
I don't have a degree to fall back on to say, well, if this doesn't work, then I'll go back. If this shit doesn't work, I'm working at Walmart. I'm working at McDonald's. Like, that's how I look. So because I don't have a plan, I'll be asleep and I'll wake up at 4 a.m. Like, that makes sense. And I'll get up, come to my whiteboard, write it down, and I'll try to go back to sleep. If I can't, then I'm just up. Let's work on it. There's so many things that happen with me that just happen naturally that I really can't explain.
100%.
And I feel a lot of it comes from my parents. A lot of it comes from, you know, the books that I read, the music that I listen to, the shows that I watch. Like, I'm always looking for information. So as information comes in, my brain is braiding it and intermingling it to create something new. And as it's being created, it's the stuff that you see. Like, text, somebody just did that. I don't want to age this, but we just did that, right?
Well, it goes back to having the idea and creating it.
Yeah.
Constantly repeating that over and over and over again.
Tech Summit Black, I had the idea from last year, June. And it happened in February. It was supposed to happen in November, but it happened in February. So as humans, as young humans, as entrepreneurs, as athletes, as people, as men, women, we all have the opportunity to be great. Great on many different levels, right? My greatness might seem that great. To me, it doesn't.
It's just because it's just who you are.
Just me. I just wake up. All right, let's just do some dope shit today. You see us when we're on calls, when we're sitting down, and I'm just, yo, what do you guys think if we did this?
Yeah.
this. I'm always trying to bring two things together that don't necessarily fit. And because I'm always trying to bridge these gaps, everyone's like, oh man, that's amazing. Not really.
Right, but those are just
There's 2.4% of Black people in tech.
Yeah.
Work with athletes, which kids love. Athletes that are also in tech. Let's host a summit for the Black community.
It makes total sense. And I think the biggest point there is like, you ain't trying to be someone you're not. Like, you're not out here trying to hustle and find that viral TikTok moment, or you're not trying to find that viral moment that puts you on. It's just like slowly and slowly continue to be yourself, using the people you know, your passions, your experiences, your family, all of it. And that's why you're doing the dope shit that you're doing.
Yeah. I think one thing to add to that point is Kobe said it. You got to fall in love with the journey. You gotta be like, man, I gotta be up at 8 and be excited about being up at
8. Because I think about that all the time too. Is like, once you accomplish what you're doing, then it's over. Like it's done. Like that's what it's all about. Like the fun part is the journey, because when you reach your end, then.
But there is no end. That's the thing. There is no end. As long as you're still, if you work every day, if you work on something every day, something's got to give.
Agreed.
Bruce said it at our Tech Summit Black. It's like basketball. If you stand around the hoop long enough,
that was a bar.
A ball's gonna drop in your hand. But
that was
what
a bar.
Are you gonna do with it? You're gonna dribble it off your foot.
Yeah.
Like, how are you getting ready? Because it's just like the NBA. Everyone in that league is nice. Some nicer than others.
Mm-hmm.
When your chance comes, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to, or is it, I'm ready? It's all in your head. Everything
Couldn't agree more.
Everything is in your head. That's why I tell you, Tristan, I really believe and know in my heart that you cannot guard me. I am a very, very tougher.
Man, you know what?
And you can disagree as much as you want. You can. You might cross me and whoa, that's fine. My point is, you cannot guard me. And that's where I'll stay. Because you know what? I've beaten a lot of people one-on-one. A lot. And I know where my strengths are. So all of that just comes from work. All of that just comes from experience. And for those listeners that, they're tuning in with Tristan and seeing what Tristan's got going on, Tristan's a very, very bright young man with a creative soul. Tristan, you got to keep going.
Yeah.
I get it. Job, you're in Toronto, you're trying to figure it out. This is your job. Your job is figuring it out. Your job is making sure that the rest of your life, you're doing what you want to do.
And that's what
too many people that are doing what they have to do.
Yes.
I'm trying to do shit that I want to do.
And that's why they're miserable.
So, the ball is yours. But I'm by the hoop and I'm running. I know exactly. I'm running straight to the 3-point line and shooting it. Because I know that's where I'm going to get success.
Hey, I'm gonna say we can agree on that. I think that's a good way to put it. That's my game. Corner, transition corner. That's it, baby. Everyone, that's Randy Osei. Thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you. I don't know. We have meetings
tomorrow,
every day. But this was fun. Everyone, sign it off.
What's up, world? It's your boy Randy Rozaay, CEO and founder of the Athlete Tech Group, and you just watched Undress the Jersey.